I visited the most UNESCO sites in 24 hours by only taking public transportation. So,
in 24 hours?
Yeah.
How many?
I visited 12 between Germany and Holland. And then I'm a huge Cubs fan. My dad's from Chicago.
Right.
The moment I finished that world, we 24 hours, we're exhausted, we're done, was the first pitch of Game 7 of the World Series.
What?
So traveling is the best education you can have, and I really hope that people can travel more.
I would have to agree. I mean, I haven't traveled obviously as much as you have, and I was sort of I had sort of a travel phobia for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to Italy and I get sick the first 3 days. See, I told you so. I'm not supposed to breathe air from other places.
How many pull-ups have you done in your life?
As many countries as you've been to, times about 10,000.
Times about 10,000.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at those.
Yeah.
And then why South Korea? What happened there?
I just wanted to keep traveling because I loved it so much. I studied economics. I didn't really want to get a corporate job and do the whole 9 to 5 thing. So my friend from college told me about a teaching English program in Korea. I'm not a teacher. My mom's a teacher, was a 3rd grade teacher, but I saw it as a good opportunity to live in Asia and get paid to live in Asia. So I did. 2 months after college, I packed my bag and went to Korea, first time in Asia, and lived there for 2 years.
You had no credentials as a teacher, but you ended up going to Korea because you spoke pretty decent English.
That's it. You have to be a native English speaker, and you have to have a degree from a 3 or 4 year university.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
Those are requirements to be an English teacher, because it's your native language, so you don't have to study English to be an English teacher. Apparently.
Oh. And so you were there in South Korea for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, I was living 30 miles south of Seoul. Yeah, so in Korea, I went to about 20 more countries in Asia, Japan, Taiwan, Thailand.
And
then I started a blog, and I was just documenting my travels for my friends and family. And I connected with other travel bloggers. One guy who's one of my good friends, he finished at 31 years old, he finished all the countries. And at the time, he was the youngest American to do that in 2011. Wow. And I was 23 years old. I had been to about 45 countries. And I was like, why not try to visit every country? Literally, that's how it happened. He did it, and I said, why not try? So then I tried. Because to go to every country, it's very time consuming, and you have to try to go to all those little countries in Western Africa and Central Africa and the Pacific. It's very time consuming. Yeah.
Wow. And so how did you budget all that? Like, how were you able to afford all that travel and being able to hotels and car rentals and all of it?
Teaching English was I made $3,000 a month, but that included free rent. It included free phone plan, free health insurance. Like they hooked it up. So $3,000 a month in your pocket in Korea is a lot of money.
Wow.
So I did that for a while. When I left Korea, they gave me a bonus of $5,000. I completed 2 years at that school. I don't know. So, but I traveled pretty cheaply in the beginning. Sleeping in hostels and eating street food. I mean, it's not that expensive to travel. Switzerland and Norway and Australia, those are expensive. But if you go to India and Pakistan and Thailand, I mean, it's for $1,000 a month. You can easily travel. Okay. So I was making some money through blogging, and then didn't start making videos till 2017, and that's when everything changed.
Oh, wow. So prior to 2017, you were just doing it to do it, but you weren't really documenting it, much of that stuff.
I was documenting it on Snapchat, because I got a following on Snapchat in 2015, right when the app was getting popular. And so I actually got paid by the Olympics to go to Rio in 2016, and they paid me $5,000 just to go there and Snapchat the Olympics. So that was kind of my first, breakthrough of okay, I think I can make money doing this, Wow. And then Instagram stories came out. I remember I was in Uruguay, and I was like, okay, Snapchat just kind of died for making content like that.
Right.
Went on Instagram, and then soon after, Deanna, she's my fiance now, she bought me a camera, and she's like, you should start making videos, longer form videos, and putting them on YouTube. And I said, why not? So I did it.
What I love about your story is there was never some early master plan.
Correct.
It was just sort of, you had these experiences, and this technology was coming around, and there were certain things like Snapchat and other YouTube and things. We just started oh, okay, I'll do this. And you've built this amazing career for yourself.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
What's the one country you've been to the most, and why?
Probably Thailand. I spent 18 months there. Korea is the answer. We already talked about Korea. So Thailand, I've been a lot. And Turkey, I really love that country. So I'm planning to take my parents there this summer.
And why those two? What was so special about them?
The food, the culture, it's safe, and it's just every corner you turn is just amazing, and just something different,
Really?
I don't know. It's hard to say why. I guess I just really connect.
You're just drawn to it.
You just connect with the people, and the more you travel in those countries, the more you're like, wow, this place is really, really special. And not every country, in my opinion, is that incredible. I mean, I'm not going to name places, but a lot of them blend together. When you go to regions,
right,
it's like, okay, these are really similar. It's like same language.
Is Norway and Sweden and
kind of
similar?
I love those countries, but they are similar,
yeah.
you know. But when you travel in Thailand and Turkey specifically, like wherever you go in those countries, it's different. So I really like it there.
What was the most visually mind-blowing, spectacular, super beautiful place on Earth that you've ever seen? I'm sure there's more than one.
Are we talking natural landscapes or landmarks? Man-made
I would say natural. We'll start natural, and then we'll just go landmarks second.
Hit me with tough questions.
Oh, yeah, I don't mess around. Here, power up. We're powering up. We're not powering down right now.
Tajikistan is a country that's 90% mountains. They speak Farsi, which is the same language in Iran and Afghanistan. I had no idea what was going on there. I flew in and I took me and my local friend. I always make local friends through Instagram.
Oh. So you have your own personal guides when you show up.
Thankfully, through social media, I'm able to connect, with people all over the world. So I'll just post like.
I'm going to need a list of all those people, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I just say like, hey guys, I'm going to be in Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan over the next few months. Like, is anybody there? And I get all these messages, and then I filter through them, and then I find someone that looks cool, and they're willing to show me around. And obviously I pay for everything. I pay for the hotels and the gas. Like, I want to make it a win-win for them.
Right.
I don't want to sound like I'm like using people to make content.
I did not get that impression at all.
Well, some people think so. Social media people, it's a lot of haters out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I make local friends, and in Tajikistan, he took me around in his car, and we went to all these amazing national parks, and we slept in yurts. So yurt is like a circular home, a nomadic home where they used to live from thousands of years ago, and families sleep in there, and there's a little chimney in the middle, and they just drink tea, and it's just
like a super modern, really cool wooden igloo.
They're not that modern, but yes.
Oh yeah, some of them can be.
Some of them can be
pretty
modern.
tricked out.
Correct. The ones I slept in Tajikistan were not modern. But
no.
Yeah, it's just it's a country I never heard of before I went, and I absolutely loved it. So
and we're talking national park, beautiful.
Absolutely, like snow-capped mountains, like beautiful birds and just animals everywhere, and really hospitable people. And there's a lot of places that I can tell you are really amazing, but that's a country that most people have never heard of, and that's why I like to shine some light on it.
Right. Any exercise while you were out there, or are you just too busy traveling around?
Talking to Tony Horton about exercise.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's all right. You'll get it in when you come to my house.
Yeah. So I'm really active. So like I walk a lot, and I have backpacks on my back always, which are 30 pounds. I'm, moving. I walk 5 to 10 miles a day when I travel, and walking's underrated. I really think so.
No, man, I get exhausted. I'd rather run than walk.
Yeah. People sit in their house. They drive to work. They sit at the office. People lack walking. They need to walk more.
Well, when most everybody was fairly thin.
Yeah.
Right? That was it. Everybody was walking all the time.
Right.
They were eating less too.
In Europe, they walk a lot and they take the metro. But anyways, so I just move my body, and that's how I don't gain too much weight. I've stayed at about 150 pounds for the last 10 years.
Well, there you go.
And everybody always asks me, like, how do you not gain weight? And I don't eat the healthiest, but I just move my body.
Right.
So
you burn it off.
I sometimes will do push-ups, but I can't get in the rhythm. So give me some motivation.
Dude, you and I, hello. It's gonna happen. You're doing pretty well. You're pretty happy. But here's what's interesting though. Your weight, you've maintained it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was just saying this to a friend the other day. I think the reason why people a lot of struggle with their weight, and the reason why they're overweight, is because they don't have something else other than food that they're super excited about. Like food for me is sort of 10th on the list.
Yeah.
I love a beautiful meal. I love flavoring and texture and all that kind of thing. But it's just not, I'll get up in the morning and I'll work out and I'll do a shake afterward, and then I'll think, oh God, it's 3 o'clock. I should eat something.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we overeat at every meal, and it's ick. So but how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30. So if we take your age, multiply by 2, and then add 3, that's me. All right, so speed round.
You look 30.
Yeah, well, it's the makeup and the lighting. Trust me, my friend. You should see me in the morning. What's it like to visit countries that so few Americans get to visit, like North Korea?
It's an honor. It's cool to go to places that nobody knows anything about, and the fact that I can document it and put it on YouTube and share it with millions of people is rewarding. And I get messages all the time from people from Syria and Iraq that are like, thank you so much for showing the positive side.
The positive side of where we are,
because nobody knows anything positive about Syria, and it's an amazing country.
Right. Now let me ask, it's not the 7 wonders of the world, but there's 1,152, what are they called?
UNESCO World Heritage Sites?
Say that again?
UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
Now explain what they are and how many you've been to and how many you were in a period of time. I know you have
Guinness
that's
World
one of your Guinness Book of World Records, right?
Yeah, so UNESCO.
That's very cool. Explain that.
Thank you. A UNESCO site is it's designated by the UN. There's about 1,100, and they're really significant in terms of culturally or naturally or geographically. Like the Grand Canyon would be one because or the Taj Mahal is a UNESCO
Taj Mahal
site.
is one of them.
The pyramids of Giza, or there's a lot of them. I mean,
1,100 plus.
Yeah, the U.S. has like 100 different sites.
Yeah.
So,
but I noticed that I was looking at the map. The Middle East is jam-packed.
Because it's where history.
All these,
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, there's so many sites, and Iraq is Mesopotamia, and I love Iraq. But yeah, I visited the most UNESCO sites in 24 hours by only taking public transportation. So,
in 24 hours?
Yeah.
How many?
I visited 12 between Germany and Holland.
Wow.
So I took only domestic flights and trains and buses.
Can you name just a handful of what they were?
In Amsterdam, there's the canals of Amsterdam, which is... Have you been to Amsterdam?
No.
Oh, man.
What's wrong with me?
You gotta get out there,
Dude,
man.
take me to these places.
If there's one thing you learn from this whole conversation, go to Amsterdam.
Go to Amsterdam. Yeah. For more reasons than one.
Yeah, it's a great place. And then there's these windmills called Kinderdijk, and there's like these really old... Have you ever seen like a Dutch windmill? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Solvang. Have you heard of Solvang in California? It's like 2 hours away from here.
Yeah.
That they have. It's based off of like a Dutch town, and they have windmills.
Right.
And then in Germany, in Berlin, there's all these like old palaces that we went to, and the Brandenburg Gate, which is another famous monument.
Right.
Yeah. So we did it all, and then I'm a huge Cubs fan. My dad's from Chicago.
Right.
The moment I finished that 24 hours, we're exhausted, we're done, was the first pitch of Game 7 of the World Series.
What?
So I went to a bar, and it was like 3 a.m, and I went to a bar, and they were like, we're closing. And I was like, please, I will buy every drink in this bar, because nobody cares about baseball in Holland. I was like, please, please, can I watch the game? So I sat in the bar for 4 hours, and the Cubs won the World Series. So I had a Guinness World Record, and the Cubs won the World Series within one day. Yeah.
Oh, here's one I like a lot. Most expensive country.
I was in Geneva, Switzerland, right after Russia, so like a week ago. Switzerland's probably number 1, Norway's probably number 2, and then it's close between like New Zealand, Australia. I mean, parts of the U.S. can be really expensive.
Sure.
I mean, L.A., New York.
Yeah, Beverly Hills right over there.
Beverly Hills, I mean, go get a drink, it's $25. I mean, it's crazy.
I know. New York City, obviously.
New York City.
Yeah.
And then a lot of Western Europe, so like parts of France and Sweden and Iceland can be expensive.
Right.
Those are the most, and Singapore is expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Cheapest would be Bangladesh or Afghanistan.
So which country, this is kind of an extension of the one I just asked, country where your money went the furthest, was it Bangladesh or?
Probably Afghanistan, yeah.
Afghanistan.
Yeah. I do these videos like what can $10 get you in whatever country. I've done like 50 episodes.
Oh,
so in
cool.
Afghanistan, I was able to buy like 15 different things for $10 total. So like,
wow.
Street food or like a shirt or whatever, like just going around, a hat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not that hat. Though.
Not this hat. This is a better. This is not worth $1. This hat.
It's worth $5. Here's one that's maybe you've already kind of covered, but I like this kind of approach. Most humbling experience you've had while traveling, where you just felt in awe about where you were.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've never been asked that question.
Well, our team, they're a crack team.
I've been asked a lot of questions.
Yeah. I love that question.
In Yemen, which is probably the most dangerous country all around in the world, our car broke down. Me and my local guide, and some random dude came up on the street and like offered to. I was so scared. I was like, man, I don't want to be stuck on the side of the road. Car broken. Are we gonna get kidnapped? And some just random guy driving picked us up and took us into his little village, and he invited us into his house. We were on a little rug like this. He brought us food. Wow. His friends came over, and I was like, this is the beauty of humanity. Wow. This is the reason why I travel.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that story is so helpful for people to understand. Like Yemen, people just think, oh my God, it's just crazy dangerous.
War zone, yeah.
But then the fact that that's happening to you means that there's good people everywhere.
It's good people everywhere.
Yeah.
And it can be dangerous, of course. I'm not going to say that it's the safest place, but
sure.
But people are generally, I say 99.9% of people are hospitable, friendly, and nice. There's always some people that maybe aren't, but everywhere in the world, people are friendly. As I traveled more, I kind of became wiser and learned about different religions and different ways of life. But traveling throughout Africa, there's 55 countries in Africa, and I like to say about 10 of them are easy and convenient in terms of getting visas. Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Tanzania. We talked about Tanzania. Mm-hmm. Those are easy. Like you can just get on a plane and go. But going through Central Africa and West Africa, the Congo and Central African Republic and Burundi and a lot of countries that no one's heard of, like Equatorial Guinea, it's hard, it's expensive, and it's like And sometimes I'm there and I'm like, what am I actually doing here? But then once I meet the people, it always comes back to the people. You meet someone really inspiring and they take you in their house or they show you a good time, and then it all becomes worth it. So having a lot of those experiences over time is the answer. I don't have one exact moment.
Let me, how about this? I'm going to maybe alter that question a little bit. Compare who you are now after all of this compared to how you were the day you graduated high school. Like, who were you then and who are you now, based on traveling the world?
I still love golf.
That's evident outside.
Yeah, I'm still the same. I like 90s comedies with Adam Sandler in it. Like I'm still the same person, but I'm just a lot wiser. Like when I watch a movie now, like I get it. Like I've been to that place where they shot it, and I get a lot of references. People will say a comment about a certain tribe that no one picks up, but then I'm like, wow,
I know what that is. I know what that's about.
So it's and also it's cool when I can shake someone's hand and say, where are you from? And I automatically know that I've been to that country and I can connect with anyone. And I couldn't do that in high school. I was in a sheltered American bubble,
Right.
So
as was I, yeah.
Traveling is the best education you can have, and I really hope that people can travel more.
I would have to agree. I mean, I haven't traveled obviously as much as you have, and I was sort of I had sort of a travel phobia for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to Italy and I get sick the first 3 days. See, I told you so. I'm not supposed to breathe air from other places. And that all changed after a while. I mean, of course, when I go somewhere, I usually have to perform. You know what I mean? I have to be up and I have to be on and I have to, motivate, inspire folks and put them through the paces. And they're all expecting me to, every military base, especially Marine Corps bases, there's somebody there that wants to, challenge me in a push-up and pull-up contest.
Do you win?
Every time. There's this one, really quickly. Some kid, we were on an Air Force base and, he was 22 years old and I was 50-something. And I used to start on Mondays just doing 500 push-ups, so I was good at push-ups. And so in the military, when you do your PT test, it's maximum push-ups in a minute. And so we had a minute, and he did 77, and I did 88.
Wow.
You can Google that. I think those were the numbers.
88.
And then he challenged me in a pull-up contest, and that was dumb. He lost that one too. But I mean, I don't know. Lately, I have to hone up. But
I'm intimidated.
Well, hello, it's Tony Horton. How are you? I'm glad that you've really enjoyed this interview. I can tell because you're watching it, because I can see you. Anyway, since you're here, I know you're really gonna fall madly in love with this next one. I mean, I'm talking about knowledge consumed by you. All you gotta do is go right over there.